Hello and welcome to the Boomtown Hoops post-game show. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me, we got Jameson, we got Jesse, and we're here to talk about the Thunder getting back on their winning ways, taking out the Cleveland Cavaliers 117-101. Folks, the Thunder not only win, but win big. This one really wasn't in question from the second quarter on. What did the Thunder do to not only just build a strong lead, but sustain it for the most of the night? Jameson, you tell me how the Thunder got this big win.
Yeah, it was really the play from our bench. I feel like whenever our bench came in, everything just picked up and we created a huge lead. If you look at the plus-minus, which I hate to look at, but it's very consistent with our bench being plus 18s and plus 20s, and then our starters kind of being in the 0s to 10 range. Our bench showed up and played really well. Hami with a really efficient night, didn't miss a shot. Kenrich Williams, another good game. It's nice to play well from the bench, even whenever you don't have a star guy coming off the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. The bench was huge, and I think in a way, not only was the quality of our guys, not only were they incredible, but Cleveland just is not a deep team whatsoever, so that definitely helped quite a bit. Jesse, what did you see from the Thunder tonight in such a complete victory?
Yeah, I thought the Cavs did a really good job on SGA early, but as soon as he came back in, he pretty much did whatever he wanted tonight. It was nice to see Hami kind of get the start that he did because we definitely needed that. We had a very quiet start. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this one. I think for me, Darius Bazley's kind of the question mark in this one. I didn't think he was very aggressive, but I guess with a night from SGA like that, it doesn't really matter much.
Fair enough. And, for the first three quarters of this game, it was all Shea. Had 26 points. Most of the other guys in the equation, weren't really doing a ton scoring wise. But Shea, really worked to get into assist mode. Finished with 9 assists, I believe. Entering the fourth, he was sitting around 4 or so assists. So really, great stuff from Shea to really dish it out. Really balanced, efficient game from him. And we can just kind of go in and talk about Shea. I think he's probably clearly the MVP for tonight. 9 for 15 shooting, perfect 3 for 3 from 3-point line, and 10 for 12 from the free throws. Just a really, really great night from Shea. Jameson, what did you see tonight with Shea? I know you were expecting a big night out of him tonight from our preview. Did he live up to those expectations?
Yeah, he did. I feel like he could have been even more aggressive and took even more shots and could have gotten to that 40-point range like many people wanted. But from one thing that stood out to me that I hadn't seen a lot is he got to the free throw line. He went 12 times, and he only averages a little over 6 free throws per game, which a guy who leads the league in drives, I don't know if he still does in the NBA. There was at one time a couple games ago before he got hurt. You would expect him to have free throw numbers that are consistently in the teens. And that's something we haven't seen as much. And if he gets to the free throw line 12 times a game, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we've been clamoring for, honestly, since August, since we started this whole thing. So to see him have a good night, just driving to the rim, getting whatever he wants, finishing just remarkably well, that's just incredible. So we gotta talk. Sean over here, he mentions we've gotten better since the G League assignments, but Pokuševski, I know where he's going with this. Poku had himself a good night, 17 points for the Blue. Had an awesome, around the back layup. Jameson, I want to hear what you're. Actually, no, Jesse, I'll let you go on this one. I don't know how much of that you saw, but Poku, a little bit of a star in the making here.
Yeah, I've liked watching him in the G League. I do think maybe the NBA was a little too fast-paced, but I like seeing him be able to make plays like that. I'm hopeful that one day we'll see that in the NBA. I know he had the not top 10 moment when he called for the ball out of bounds, but it was just a little oopsie. He didn't mean it. I thought he had a really solid night, and I really enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, I definitely a bit of an oopsie calling for the ball. Jameson, have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah, it happens all the time. I don't know why people on the bench stand up all the time. You'd think that these spread out seats would help it. No, don't stand up if you're right next to the corner. That is like, if you're a basketball player, you see it all the time. You play basketball, you've thrown it to the ref on an accident at least once, and you've thrown it to the bench many times. I know for sure I've done that. So, okay, it happens. It happens. But the big thing with Poku and the people that hate on Poku all the time, this is why people have so much hype for him. Yes, has he shot the ball well from three? He's not done that. He's turned the ball over a lot. It's a lot of growing pains. But you know how fun and exciting it is to watch a guy with a J.R. Smith trigger who's going down 7'2" and does a behind the back three, like Gilbert Arenas-esque layup move. That is so fun. You don't see that with anybody in the NBA except for maybe 3 or 4 players who can do that at that size.
It's a super unique skill set. And also, I got to say, I had to break into the Poku a little early, probably jumped the gun a bit, because we still have a lot of basketball to talk about with the Thunder Cavs game for sure. But I just saw it early, had to jump on that before I forgot. So, obviously, Shea probably the MVP tonight. But who else stood out to you tonight, Jesse?
It was definitely Hami for me. Like I said, I thought the Cavs did a good job on SGA early, so when Hami came in, he kind of gave us the energy we needed, and I just thought he got to the basket so easily when that's kind of what I thought we were struggling with in the first. So, I mean, I definitely think SGA was the player of the game, but if we're going to talk about anybody else, I feel like it's got to be Hami.
Yeah, aggressive Hami. He was so key in those stretches on the bench. I just love seeing his progression this year. Jameson, your thoughts on Diallo's just incredible game and his aggression, his whole progression this year. What did you think about it?
Yeah, the thing with Hami this season is it's hard to get on board with him at the beginning because he doesn't have a shot. And the way we had played him in the corner and just hoping he can drive from the corner was not working for him. What works for him is giving him the ball, letting him kind of be a point forward and playing in the fast break fast. The way he finishes the ball this season, his finishing at the rim has been one of the best in the league. I know I saw a stat and finishing at the rim, he's one of the best. And it's amazing, and his athleticism cannot be stopped. People would love to just give him all the room in the world and just come at me and then I'm going to guard you once you're past the free throw line. But he's too athletic to, once he gets to that point and he's on your hip, he's finishing at the rim. So though he doesn't have a shot, he's still finishing at a really high mark. Yeah,
because if you're sagging off of him, you just get beat athletically. You can't play good defense when you're on your heels with Diallo. I got to give my shout out. I loved Teo Maladone tonight. Really, really good complimentary piece for the offense. Not anything too flashy number wise. 14 points, that's good. 3 for 4 from 3. I know Sean's a big fan of Theo as well, but I really liked what he adds to this team. Just very good pace for sure. Jesse, your thoughts on Theo?
Yeah, he hit that 3 over Jarrett Allen, so that was fun. Teo's kind of touch and go for me, and I don't mean that in a bad way or not. I think some games he just kind of blends in a little bit more, but I think he did a good job of hitting his open shots tonight, and we saw him attack more, so I thought he had a pretty solid game.
Yeah, absolutely. Jameson, your take on Maladone?
He's just looking like a guy that you can confidently play in the playoffs coming off your backup rotation as a point guard. And that's exactly what you want from a second-round pick. You know how many second-round picks hit in this league? Very, very few. You hear great stories about the Draymond Greens and, Isaiah Thomases and stuff like that. But, the vast majority just are out of the league. And so I am very, very pleased. And, he is right now, I've said this before, he's at the confidence level of where we were at with Eric Maynard right now. And he's a 19-year-old just coming out of EuroLeague.
Now that's a great comparison right there.
Yes. And I think it's very, very apt in the way they play the game. They're just smart. You know what you're getting from them. And, you just got to be happy with that right now because he's got plenty of room to grow. And if he does get more opportunity in the future, say if we make some trades and we become a little bit more thin up top, he can grow and score the ball more. He only took, 7 shots tonight or something, made 5 of them. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's exactly what you want. First year guy, second round. That's crazy stuff for sure. Just a couple shout outs here. Max, Wash, how's it going? Good to see y'all as always. So with the All-Star vote coming close, I don't know if we're going to. I guess we'll actually know coming on Wednesday if Shai gets in. But do we actually think there's any chance for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get in the All-Star game? Is it just a little too tight here? Jesse, your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, I'm hopeful that he's going to get picked. I think, for me, the question mark was him taking over the team this season. Like last year, we had Dennis and we had Chris Paul. And I was a little hesitant to say that I wanted him to have full reins as far as like earlier this season. But I feel like when it clicked, it just clicked. And now I do see that leadership stuff. And yeah, I mean, obviously I want him to be in the All-Star game. I think it's deserving.
Yeah, absolutely. Jameson, does Shai get your All-Star nod if you had one?
I wouldn't vote for him as an all-star if I was a voter. But if you're talking about efficiency and the way they're playing the game, he's playing better than Devin Booker. And Devin Booker's going to get in. That's that spot, that Shai would want to get. And you just can't beat name recognition. You can't beat flash. Because the all-star game, all in all, is a flash game. And people are going to pick the flashier player, even if there's, a 5% shooting percentage difference and like a couple points and a couple assists. So with the big thing I want to hammer home with the SGA hopefuls for the All-Star game, his best shot is becoming a replacement through injury or through opt-out. And I have a strong inclination that there's going to be, a couple opt-outs at least, or people being hurt because of COVID. If you put every single best player in the NBA onto one court and you have one problem with COVID, that is a whole contact trace of the whole NBA superstars. And that completely just shuts down every single, big market team that has a superstar. Yeah. I mean, if I'm a team like if I'm a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who's already had COVID, I understand. But, it's been hit hard by the league due to contact tracing and, the Rudy Gobert incident last season. I'd be a little hesitant to go. And it doesn't matter if you've had COVID before. They're holding Kevin Durant out, even though he's registering negative tests, just because he had a contact trace. So I'm a little hesitant if I'm a superstar, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one or two.
Yeah, and we've seen years where a lot of guys opt out in non-COVID years. Chris Kaman was an all-star one year, for God's sake. So yeah, things can get weird. And I think it probably would take that for Shai to get in. Usually there's just kind of a natural queue of guys. Booker was left out last year. Before that, you had a couple years where Lillard was getting snubbed. And you just kind of have to take your time, pay your dues if you're not blowing the league up. Like Shai is great, but he's not quite on that tier just yet. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I'm not optimistic, but it'd be great to see Shai as an NBA All-Star. I think it's a matter of of when rather than if. So let's move on to a little bit of a preview for tomorrow night's game against the Miami Heat. Hopefully they're keeping their Go-Gurt jerseys at home. So the Heat, last time we saw them, blew the Thunder out of the water. This time, a little bit improving, but not exactly in great standing right now. Jesse, what are your thoughts on the Thunder, second night of a back-to-back against Miami? What are you looking forward to here?
Yeah, I think the Heat have been playing better recently, so that does make me a little bit nervous. I'm also kind of curious to see if we rest anybody on the back-to-back. So I just want it to be a solid effort. If we don't come out with the win, it's whatever. But I mean, you guys know me. I always want to win, but I won't take it too offensively if we don't.
Yeah, well, hey, we have Miami's pick, so a win against them, that helps everyone in my book. Jameson, your thoughts on the Heat coming to town tomorrow, particularly on the back-to-back? Probably no Horford, as he always sits the second night of a back-to-back. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense for Horford to sit just because the back-to-back, he's done that a lot this year. And plus, even though they have a Bam Adebayo as their big man, he is a guy that Roby can still guard confidently because of size-wise. it really helps to have Horford whenever you're playing against, the Nikola Jokic's, the Rudy Gobert's, people of that size, Steven Adams. But Roby can handle Adebayo. Adebayo is still going to work him. I'm not saying, like it's anything different. Adebayo, the way he played on primetime last night was stellar. So, I think it'll be a fun game, and it'll be a good game for all fans because stress levels will be low if you're a tanker. If you're a non-tanker, we're just playing with house money right now.
Absolutely. Just sit back, enjoy some basketball. It's going to be a good time. I'm certainly here for it. The more basketball, the better. We're about to go into an all-star break, so just give it to me. We're about to get a little overloaded, but I'm all in on it for sure. Well, that's all I got for today. So for me, Jameson, and Jesse, this has been the Boomtown Hoops post-game show. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thunder up.